one. I found out that Doane had classes for adult learners on the Lincoln campus and online. So I earned my bachelor's degree, and 5 months later, I landed my dream job. I decided to continue my education, and now I'm working on my MBA at Doane. For me, the Doane experience has been life-changing.
Sports Show!
Coming up in Lincoln, February 2nd through 4th at the Sandhills Global Event Center, it's the family show of all outdoors. The 55th Annual Boat, Sport, and Travel Show. With RVs, motorhomes, boats, trailers, discount tackle, and family fun for everyone. Interact with exotic animals at wildlife encounters and appearances by Husker football players. Veterans free on Friday, lots of free parking. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. See you there!
Sports Show!
Why are New Year's resolutions always about getting to the gym more or dieting? We fail ourselves before the first month of the year is already over. Why not resolve to eat better, tastier foods in 2024? Look no further than Fuhrer's cheese spread. Stop eating your apples, vegetables, crackers, and chips plain. Give them some flavor. Fuhrer's cheese spread awakens your taste buds. Now that's how you start a new year. Find your container of Fuhrer's cheese spread today at your local grocery store.
This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three! And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome in to On the Block, a beautiful happy Monday to you and yours. I'm Austin Norman, joined by the Husker Hall of Famer, 9-year NBA vet, Mr. Erick Strickland. Stricky, what's up?
There it is.
The point is on point.
I'm still upset that we just could not get you in the snow. It's over with now, but
It's gone.
I really wanted you. I really wanted you to be in the snow angel.
I did too.
My gosh, we didn't get a chance to do it, but that's A-okay. We're good to go. It is another week, man. We made it through the weekend. Made it through the move.
How is the pad?
It is, man. It's very comfortable, actually. It's very peaceful, and I'm liking it. Now, I will say this: I'm extremely glad to see the sun the last few days.
Yes.
I don't think I remember when I played in Vancouver and how miserable sometimes it was because it just seemed like it was always cloudy, dreary. Like every time we went to play Portland, it was misty, rain, just no sun anywhere. And sometimes in Seattle, it would be like that. But anytime we played out there in the Northwest, and I can understand just kind of how miserable people can be sometimes because you got to want to see the sun. You know what I mean? It just kind of revitalizes you. It kind of gives you a little bit of pep to your step. And it's been beautiful to see it.
Better city, Vancouver or Toronto?
Oh, it really depends on what you like. The thing that I would say I like about Toronto gives me New Yorkish vibes, kind of city, flow. It's very much like that. Now, Vancouver, the thing that I like about Vancouver is the versatility of it, right? You can go a certain amount of hours, less than a couple of hours, you could be in the mountains, Whistler. If you like water and you want to do boating, just go right over there. And, you got Victoria and you got, any of the bays and you got the ocean that's right there. And then you just got regular city life. It's really like a melting pot, man. It really is. It's a melting pot. I mean, there's all types of cultures there. So it kind of gives you that vibe. Seems like it's a little bit more slower, like fast paced more in Toronto. Yeah.
Toronto's the New York of Canada, give or take.
Basically.
Texters, if you have a preference, Vancouver or Toronto, let us know on the text line 402-464-5685. The only time I've been out of the country, I went south of the border. not north of the border. But the one thing that I want to go to Canada for is authentic poutine. You know,
What's that?
It's French fries and like sausage and gravy and cheese. Like, I'm sure that's something we could make here at home, but I think it's like a Canadian thing. So I want to have authentic Canadian poutine sometime.
Oh, that's interesting. Now, see, I used to live in Great Falls. Montana. So the closest things to us at that point was like Winnipeg and Ottawa. Those were, so when you talk about the hockey and stuff like that, you know, it's really not much there.
Did you get into hockey when you were up there at all?
Not really. Not really.
I can see you as a good enforcer.
I always thought, listen, they played football and it would be cold when I went out, but I just always thought I was going to be a CMR wrestler.
Ooh.
That was the name. They were green and gold.
Huh.
And then they had another high school, something, they were called the Bison.
Okay.
And we would go to those little rivalry games and I was like, oh, I want to be a CMR wrestler. And I just thought I was going to be. And then all of a sudden we moved to California and, ooh, I want to go to Cabrillo. I just got hyped everywhere I went, everywhere we moved to. And then we moved, when we finally moved to Bellevue, I've shared that story before, but when we finally moved to Bellevue, I went to, I want to say it was a Bellevue West game and they were playing somebody. And I just thought that they had the coolest uniforms, that purple and gold. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, shout out to Billy Richards and you know, again, RIP to, rest in peace to Lanny Richards, who was celebrated over the weekend. A lot of folks was there for that as well, and to my brother Andre Woolridge, whose father recently passed as well. It was a tough weekend for a few of my brothers. But anyway, yeah, I just was like, I was sold. I just they ran out of the tunnel, you know, with these gold, you know, with these little like purple and gold stripes in them. And I was like, yo, that is the coolest thing. I want to be in that. That's when I knew I was going to be a Bellevue West T-Bird. Yeah.
And you were.
And I was.
One of the best.
Yeah, man. Long history. Some good T-Birds that come through over the years. But where are we at today, man? What's going on?
We are thanking Delco Daves for bringing in his Philly cheesesteaks today. Just saw the man walk in the building. Really appreciate Delco Daves for that. Check him out, 12th and O Street behind Sartor Heyman. Delco Daves comes through for us every Monday and Tuesday, so definitely make sure that you check him out there. Just a few minutes to get into this here, Strick, before we move on. Husker basketball.
Yeah.
I don't feel like there's much to talk about this game, right? Which is too bad. It seemed like another winnable road opportunity against a Maryland team that still had plenty to play for, but was just kind of up and down, kind of forgettable, kind of middle of the road. And Nebraska goes out to College Park and has one double-digit score on the game.
Yeah.
One guy scored double-digit points. It was CJ Wilcher coming in off the bench, 5 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 6 from three-point range. But Strick, every facet of the game, I mean, outside of Nebraska's 9-2 start, everything went wrong. Out-rebounded, outshot, more turnovers. Everything that could have went wrong.
It was one of the most, it was very frustrating. And it's frustrating from a standpoint of understanding what you have to do on the road. And I wonder, can they figure it out? Like, because the energy that they show in Pinnacle Bank Arena compared to when they're on the road, and that's when you have to show more energy. You have to, like, when you, I don't know if you haven't played sports, I don't know if you can really understand what I'm saying. And that may be true and that may not. But here's the issue. When you go on the road, you have to exhibit more energy than the opponent in all facets, all across the board, because you're probably going to get situations where they're going to get the benefits of the doubt on calls, on and a lot of stuff is going to probably go more against you than for you. So therefore, that's why you have to do everything possible to overcome it. Can't really be talking to refs. You can try to, but it's not going to matter. It's going to be the whistle you're probably going to get. But what I saw from them in the way they hit Northwestern on rebounds, this was a big tell for me. And the looking shows me that you're not ready.
Mm.
And if they don't get that roller coaster ride of on the road, off the road, because you had a chance at the crossroads there that you needed to bank. You missed all of your potential banking opportunities because now it's going to get tougher. So I don't know. I don't know if they're ready for the next level. I think they're ready for a jump up. But there's too much. Everybody's jumbled up, Austin. And so you can't afford to take these L's, the ones that you should be getting.
To your point about the standings being jumbled, we'll get into some more of the road woes here in just a sec, but it's Wisconsin at 8-1 at the top of the conference. Guess who comes to town on Thursday?
Exactly.
The Badgers do. Half game behind them is Purdue at 8-2, Illinois 6-3, Northwestern 6-3, Nebraska, Maryland tied at 5-5. You have Minnesota, Iowa, Michigan State, Indiana, all 4-5. And then just a game back of those teams, Ohio State, Penn State, Rutgers, and Michigan down at the bottom at 2-6 and 2-7. So Wisconsin and Purdue have been the two most consistent teams, throughout the non-conference season into the conference season. That's why they're up there at the top. But here's the other thing to look at, Strick. You have two teams at 6-3, two teams at 4-5, and 1, 2, 3, 4 teams at 4-5. Talk about a jumble, right? This is what we go back to when we say the Big Ten is tough night in, night out, but it's really less about you have to play your best every night and more about just don't be mediocre, right? Can you be a step above mediocre? Because there's not a lot of great teams in that mix. There's just a lot of drag you down into the mud sort of teams.
Exactly. And that's what I'm saying. This is why your energy has to, you need to superimpose your will. When you go on the road, you want to let them know from the onset that it's about to be a fight in the lion's den. Like we're it's going to be a knockdown, drag out, and you're going to get drug out. I'm not going down. I'm not giving up, and I'm not giving in. That's the mentality you got to have on the road. If the home team dominates you in that factor, and they get a sniff or a smell of any type of, a scent of you're not ready for the moment, they're gonna pounce on you. It's just like an animal in the jungle.
Right.
They sense fear. They're gonna pounce on you. And it's not even that they're fearful, but it's just that you're not matching their energy. You're not matching their intensity. And they came and they took it right to you, as they should. They're at home.
It's not often you get to see turtles pounce, but Maryland sure did on Saturday.
Yeah.
Snapping turtles. Those
well,
terrapins.
They bit into some corn Huskers, some definite corn. They bit and tore it in half.
That
they gave them the business. It wasn't even like close. It was the business. The whole thing other than the first 2-3 minutes. Yeah.
44-27, Maryland led it at the half. Terps also win the second half. A more respectable 5-point deficit for the Huskers, but still not pretty. Only 29-24 in the second half. So not a lot of good basketball for Nebraska to look back on as they look ahead to Wisconsin on Thursday. We'll take a break. When we get back.
Real quick.
Yeah, what you got?
You can't keep having these disappearing acts from like Rick Mast and Tamanaga. Like, there's got to be some consistency from a couple of those guys. Who's been the most consistent, Austin, right now that you've seen over the past month or two?
Pretty clearly, C.J. Wilcher.
C.J. Wilcher. And at least, and what I could see from him, he was giving effort a little bit on defense as well. But again, none of them did a good job of seeking out intently to put bodies on people, and they got dominated. But that was all I wanted to say.
To your point, I mean, Mass, Tominaga, and Williams, the three guys that averaged double figures in scoring this year, there are nights where you notice one of them, but then sometimes not the other two, right? They're averaging, 15, 14 points per game each, but it's not 11, 17, 14, 14. It's 23, 6, 23, 11, up and down, more so than the steadiness, which is, again, not something I expected from a veteran team.
Yeah. I mean, yes, you can have an off night, but you can't have, like, if you want to play at the professional level, that's one thing scouts are gonna look at, how consistent you are, not just at scoring, but in overall, what numbers are you gonna see, or that you're gonna know that when he shows up, it could be assists, It could be rebounds. Whatever that is, or whatever your strength is, they want to be able to see a consistency in that. If they don't, it's going to hinder your opportunities at playing at the NBA level. I mean, you could probably play overseas, but most people from your hometown will take you, but that's the case.
Let's just look up now the box score real quick because you got me thinking. So Rink Mass, for example, only takes 5 shots.
That's crazy.
Only 5 shots. I get it. Julian Reese is pretty good, but not good enough to get Rink only 5 shots. 6 rebounds is okay. 3 assists is fine. Pretty par for the course.
Everybody turned
3 turnovers.
Everybody turned it over, if not even or more than they had assists.
Bryce Williams 2-1.
Yep.
Jamarcus Lawrence 4-2. Casey 2-0. Rink Mass 3-3. Josiah Alec had 2 assists to 1 turnover. You have a 2-1 turnover to assist ratio from CJ Wilcher. 1-0 from Eli Rice. 2-1 from Sam Hoiberg. So the best you got was +1 from Josiah Alec. 1. Otherwise, you're even with Josiah or everyone else is negative.
And listen, it wasn't even that, Austin. It wasn't even that the pressure. It was like a token pressure just to either slow you down, take more clock off. It wasn't that hounding, like 40 minutes of hell pressure that Nolan Richardson used to give to you, right? It wasn't that.
More of the soft stuff like against Northwestern.
Man, it was okay. Let's make them turn. Now, I understood what they did, and I think that's a great game plan. You know what I mean? The way that they did it. It was a great game plan from the standpoint of he knows that they don't have a point guard. And so let's force them to just do something that they're not comfortable with. And it looked like they weren't prepared. And then Nebraska's got to get out of this, Austin. This come down and just throw the ball as if the guy's just going to be there. I saw at least 3 to 4 turnovers just because they practice and they run that systematic system that they run. I don't know what it's called, but they just catch the ball and they just throw it, or they catch it with one hand and they just throw it. And they're doing all this basically unfundamental stuff. And then when pressure gets there in the game, they don't know how to work out of a jump switch, or when they're doing different things with the body, you don't know how to adjust to it because they can't duplicate that. And so it hit him. Now, I did see CJ make an adjustment. Here's what they did. They were jump switching. CJ caught it, the handoff, stayed to the right. The guy switches, he shoots a 3 and makes it.
Bang.
That was an adjustment, but you didn't see much of that all night. They just kept doing the same old stuff. There was no slips. There were no things that you need to counter, back doors, things that you need to counter for that type of pressure. They didn't do it.
And some of that's on coaching, but here's the thing for me, Strick, it's an old team that should know that anyways. You shouldn't need to have that coach, right? If you see an open lane and you see an avenue to release pressure, find the open spot, make the next play, right? I feel like Fred Hoiberg wants the next right play, not necessarily the next step in the offense, right?
Yeah, and it's like they don't set screens on the road.
Or at home sometimes, but especially not on the road.
Definitely not on the road. It's like everybody, the person that sets the best screen is the one that's going to be open. That's a fundamental principle that you can go back to the time you played Pee-wee ball. That's it. It's the same thing in a screen or some situation. Like if a tight end, the more he blocks and makes you think he's going to hold, that sets the screen up better. It's the same thing in basketball. The better, the more formidable screen that you set, that means the guy's got to adjust to help you, which then either leaves slip opportunities or that person's going to get help on a turn, which collapses the defense where there's kick opportunity. I don't know, man. I don't.
If someone knew, you would like to think Nebraska would have solved it by now, but they haven't. Not going to make an excuse for the team winning on the road is tough. Let's take a look at Big Ten road records, even, some big names in other conferences that have struggled on the road in conference play. But more importantly, how does Nebraska get out of that funk? Is it as simple as Juwan Gary come back, or is there something else Nebraska needs to do, especially like in recapturing some of the magic from the Kansas State game that Nebraska won down in Manhattan? Husker Hall of Famer Erick Strickland to my left. I'm Austin Norman. This is On the Block. Back with more in a minute.
Are you working in or looking to get into the electrical construction industry? The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeymen and apprentices and are offering great pay and benefits. Call Mike at 402-875-1034 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
At Allo, we believe in the exceptional. From extraordinary whole home coverage to super fast speeds, our local teams are always on hand to make sure your service is running at top performance. Let go of lag, banish buffering, and enjoy outstanding service throughout your entire home. We believe in delivering nothing less than exceptional service, so that's exactly what we do. Visit us at allofiber.com to experience the exceptional.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest, quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Coming up in Lincoln, February 2nd through 4th at the Sandhills Global Event Center, it's the family show of all outdoors, the 55th Annual Boat, Sport, and Travel Show. With RVs, motorhomes, boats, trailers, discount tackle, and family fun for everyone. Interact with exotic animals at wildlife encounters and appearances by Husker football players. Veterans free on Friday, lots of free parking. Doors open at noon on Friday, 10 a.m. Saturday and Sunday. See you there!
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska, or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Talking Husker Hoops here on the block. If you've got any thoughts on the team, let us know at 402-464-5685. Don't forget, after Husker Hoops games, we got post-game. From either the end of the game probably to the top of the next hour is typically what we've been doing. So make sure you stop by 93.7 The Ticket after games and listen to usually Bach and Strick. Sometimes I pop in there as well for some post-game coverage. But Strick, the notable road win for Nebraska this year is at Kansas State. Nebraska went down to Manhattan, took Kansas State's best punch early, trailed by 3 at halftime, and then dominated in the second half, only allowing 12 points. But as I look at that game, I don't know if there's anything super sustainable that Nebraska can point back to and say, we did this especially well. Nebraska didn't shoot that well, only 35% overall. Now, 35% from 3, 11 of 31 is not bad, but Nebraska only got to the free throw line 4 times. That's not great. The big story from that Kansas State game was the 52 total rebounds compared to 31 for Kansas State, but 19 offensive rebounds, 11 of them from Juwan Gary, who had 13 points and 18 rebounds. So I was thinking over the weekend, Strick, like, okay, so what did Nebraska do against Kansas State? How did they recapture that? What happened was Nebraska had a stellar individual performance from Juwan Gary, the usual performance from Rink Mast, and Kansas State went ice cold, like colder than any team's been against Nebraska at any point this year. That's not exactly replicable.
Yeah, that's a one-off. That's like what happened to Iowa when they came here. It's
right.
a one-off. Yeah, go ahead.
And that's just the problem.
Yeah.
You're glad Nebraska won that game. I think that Kansas State win continues to get better and better. Like just looking at
They're 10-1 at home.
Yeah.
Overall.
And I think what their second loss at home under Jerome Tang in his tenure there.
Yeah.
They have lost 2 in a row. They did lose on the road at Iowa State. Hilton popped up and got them. Then they went on the road to Houston and lost. But before that, they beat Baylor in Bramlage. They lost at Texas Tech by only a point. Texas Tech, who's leading the conference right now. That Kansas State win is getting better and better for Nebraska. But you look around the country, Strick, Nebraska's not alone in struggling to win on the road, right? You go to Lawrence, Kansas, right? Kansas, your presumptive Big 12 preseason favorites. They've lost 2 out of their last 3, also on the road. At Iowa State, okay, maybe more defensible. Hilton springs up and gets them. Iowa State's pretty solid. But losing at West Virginia, that's not a special team anymore.
No,
it's not. You also lose at UCF.
Yeah.
So not even Kansas is immune to losing on the road. I want to throw this question to you, Strick. There is one Big Ten team with a winning record on the road. Who do you think it is?
Wisconsin.
It's Purdue.
Oh.
Badgers are 3-3 away from the Kohl Center. Purdue is 4-2. So yeah, other than the Boilermakers, Wisconsin's the only team with even a 500 record.
Yeah.
On the road.
I think it's like a 70-something% home to road record,
which is insane.
Which is crazy.
Home court advantage isn't that strong. There aren't that many good road arenas, right? Okay, point your temples. Walk me through.
I think it's mental. I think it's a mental thing. I just think there's a lackadaisical thing that comes when kids go on the road. They just don't. I bet you they take a lot of stuff like their PlayStations, and so I venture to say that I know we didn't. You know what I mean? Like when we got on the road, it was a lot of camaraderie. It was a lot of us going to a movie or sitting and having conversations or going to eat if there's a team meal. But there was a focus sometimes that we really wanted to have on the road. It was a mentality. And I mean, this isn't a one-off thing. I mean, you look across the board, it's there are not many great teams that are doing well on the road. Some are even, some of the best ones are, like you said, Kansas, and those are just not doing as well on the road. And it's crazy to say, but their records at home, and I always say, you take care of home, you put yourself in a position. What's crazy about the Big 12 is they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They've got 8 teams in the top 25.
Yeah.
8.
Mm-hmm.
And
that just came out again today. So that's fresh.
Even with teams losing a couple times, they've got 8. So you got to say that I think the Big 12 has now taken the Big 10 spot.
Oh,
they're gonna have more. I think maybe Big 10 gets 5, maybe.
Glad you brought that up. We started to go through this on Friday. The Big 10 kind of bracketology, right? So there are 3 outlets that have 6 Big 10 teams getting in: Purdue, Wisconsin, Illinois. Nebraska is in all the projections. Northwestern is in all but 1. Michigan State is a team that at some publications, Strick, is a 6 seed. At other publications is an 11 seed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's just bizarre, right?
Huge. That's a huge swing.
It really is. After those teams, like I'm not even willing to grant Michigan State for sure. So I think you're at 5. Michigan State's got to pick it up to get 6. From there, you don't really have a next best option. You have Iowa, meh. Ohio State? No. Maryland? Like, I know they just beat Nebraska, but that doesn't scream NCAA tournament team to me. Does it to you?
No. Yeah. Indiana doesn't seem to fit the mold. I think Maryland put themselves in a position they've got a chance to make a run. I think Maryland plays really good defense, and that's what's kind of kept them in it throughout this season, even right now. But they're hovering at about 3-4 on the road. So, but Indiana struggles. Iowa is very inconsistent. Michigan State has now fallen, but they're 1-5 against the top 25. So I don't know if that resume is going to help them, because I don't think there's enough resume in the Big Ten to help you. I think if maybe they'd won a couple of more of those games, maybe Michigan State could say that. But I don't know if that resume is strong. I mean, yeah, okay, you played them, but you ain't have any success against them, and then you're towards the middle bottom tier of the Big Ten. I don't see it. So therefore, that's why I personally think. Tell me, who do you think? Because I think 5. I think you probably got Wisconsin, Purdue, Illinois, Northwestern, and whoever wants to stand up and get a couple of road wins.
Yeah, between Nebraska, Michigan State, who the computers absolutely love, and Maryland. I think those are really the contenders.
I mean,
Iowa might get hot.
Go ahead.
Iowa might get hot, but
maybe
they don't excite me.
No.
Ohio State is really cooling off. I like Northwestern, but they're still kind of on that fringe. They're going to be buoyed by the Purdue and Illinois wins. But that's kind of what we've been saying, Strick, is that there's not a whole lot of resume boosting opportunities left. Nebraska's next 2 games are the 2 games that it has to take full advantage of.
You better get it. If you want to have a shot at it. You're right.
Wisconsin at home, Illinois on the road. By far, the 2 toughest games remaining on Nebraska's schedule are the next 2. And nobody outside of those walls feels great about the team right now at all. Like, credit to them, they beat Purdue. The Kansas State win gets better. Michigan State will have to see. But Strick, this team has to step up and prove something again soon.
You're 2 games from being at the bottom. The conference losses is 7 for Michigan. That's only 2 games away from you in the loss column. Okay. So
imagine K-State doesn't hit that shot against Northwestern.
Right.
Do you hold on to win that one? Who knows?
Right. The crazy thing is going to be if they come in here, Wisconsin, if Wisconsin comes into this building,
ranked number 6, by the way,
and you've had 1, 2, 3, you've had going on 5 days, not only to prepare, you already know who they are. And if you come in with lackadaisical energy, I'm not going to have anything to say. You want to be who you are. You want to be mediocre, because there's no way. Matter of fact, if I'm Fred, I would have ran there. These first 2, you guys are you want to go on the road and not give effort? Well, you gonna give effort up these stairs? You gonna give effort on these lines or whatever it is? You give effort and come up short and see how much you're gonna keep going. That's the type of attitude I would have, because there's no reason for it. Now come in this Thursday with lackadaisical effort. I would have hate to show up for whatever the next practice was, because there's no excuse. There's not going to be an excuse for lack of effort.
Fair enough. Got a couple good texts on the text line regarding Nebraska basketball, a couple questions, couple thoughts. We'll get to those to wrap up hour 1 of On the Block in just a sec.
Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits is now open in Lincoln. Shop our expansive collection of wine, beer, spirits, and cigars at 5040 North 27th Street. From top-shelf liquor to crowd-favorite beer, Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits has a beverage for every taste and every budget. Plus, join our loyalty program to earn rewards and save on future purchases. Shop Wall-to-Wall Wine and Spirits at 5040 North 27th Street in Lincoln. That's 5040 North 27th Street.
Prashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
Problem gambling affects millions of Americans daily, of all ages and walks of life. If your loved one is struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's 24-hour helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 402-476-2300.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, January 31st through February 1st. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on John Deere and Hagie sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, exact apply sprayers, and more. Free dicamba certification will be available. Join Landmark at their sprayer clinic January 31st and February 1st in Kearney. Find more information at landmarkimp.com/events.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Action Plumbing, Heating, Air, and Electric is the call I make when I have a need for plumbing services. Whether it's for my home or office, if I need a repair to a water heater, softener, or even my garbage disposal, I know I can count on Action to help. In one simple call, their amazing customer service team promptly schedules a service call, often getting to my needs within a day. Action delivers honest quality services we can count on. To learn more, visit actionlincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
The Lincoln forecast for today, a little patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Stay in warm weather, too. We'll see a high around 47. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low around 31. And tomorrow, more sunshine on the way. Warm weather, too. We'll see a high around 44. Meteorologist Kyle Collector for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're wrapping up hour one of On the Block on a Monday, brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Not open today or tomorrow. Check them out again Wednesday through the weekend at 29th and Pine Lake here in Lincoln. We go to our text line brought to you by Sartor Heyman Jewelers. We'll start with this one here, Strick. 7563 asks, do you think the lack of respect towards Big Ten men's basketball is because of how they finished in the tournament last year?
I think that has a lot to do with it. It wasn't just last year. It's been the last 3 years.
When's the last time the Big Ten won a national championship?
216?
Try 2000. Mateen Cleaves and Tom Izzo in 2000 is the last national championship for the Big Ten.
I mean, it's
in
even
men's
rare
basketball.
that they even get to the Final Four these days.
Michigan State made it in
That
2018 and 2015.
Yeah.
Wisconsin made it in 2015. Yeah, but they haven't even really made it that far. Purdue was that one play from Virginia away from making it back to the Final Four in Carson Edwards' year, but then they flamed out spectacularly every year since then. And we had this discussion a little bit last winter, but it's worth revisiting here. The quality of play in the Big Ten is just not the same as it is in like the SEC or the Big East or the Big 12. Like those are the big three in basketball right now. Yeah. There's good coaching all the way across. There's good defense, but also high-level offense being played. Not every game is a slop and a grind like it seems like it is in the Big Ten.
Yeah, that's exactly what it seems like to me. And I got the question, though. I'm going to throw it to you since you're a big Dookie fan.
Hey, now.
What happened to the ACC?
A lot has gone
wrong.
You
know
know
what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I mean, you look across the board in every sport. Is this have a lot to do with the ACC's TV? I mean, I don't know. What's going on?
I think a big part of it, honestly, Strick, is Jay Wright and Bill Self. What they did was they built teams that would get old and stay old. Whereas, Duke, Carolina less so, but they're involved in that. Chase them one and done. Kentucky did kind of fell off a little bit. But what we're seeing is college basketball, I think, starting to swing back to a model of veteran teams win. Every team in the Big 12 is veteran at key positions. Every team in the Big East, veteran at key positions. ACC, I think, is still relying on a lot of youth in a lot of places. And they're getting good classes, but maybe not the best. There aren't these true transcendent talents, like there were like a Zion Williamson or an Anthony Davis. So do you take a pretty good grown man as a senior or a pretty good young guy who's still learning on the fly?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of it.
Who is Cooper Flagg going to be for you?
Cooper Flagg is going to be a mix of Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, and Zion Williamson.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I have no idea what to make of Cooper
like,
Flagg.
Wait a minute.
No.
That's a hybrid for sure. That's one of the ones I'd like to hit on the golf course. That's a good hybrid. Yeah, I really wanted to understand that because it seems that it has been a nice little fall off. Because sometimes, I mean, Virginia had a little run.
Virginia just hasn't gotten the talent.
Yeah, it's been kind of wild to see. And then, Duke after Krzyzewski leaves, there was kind of just
it's year
moment.
2.
I mean, I'm not mad about it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think they got time.
Right. Even K had kind of a down stretch there. He won the title in 2015. The team with Zion, RJ, and Cam should have made the Final Four. That's a rant for a different time. But then they weren't that good in 2020. 2021 was okay. K's last year in 22 was just like 4 minutes of basketball away from playing for a Final Four. It's been okay, but you haven't had the transcendent kind of one and dones. I think Duke is still trying to find its place in the new kind of college basketball world where the name brand is carrying it through to some degree. Phil asked this too, Strick. I want your thoughts here to wrap up the hour. He says, we'll lose the rest of our road games. We'll win one at home, and then we'll lose the follow-up road game because Nebraska spends so much energy in the wins. Is that fair? Is that a reason? Is that an excuse? What do you make of that?
I would love to understand the full context of that, because it's not far-fetched to say that that's the case. I just think that it's harder. You know what I'm saying? Like it's harder when you've got to rely on internal motivations and not external, where the crowd can kind of help you in, or you make a little run and they kind of get you energized. You've got to muster that up internally. Nebraska really doesn't have, they don't have two things on that, on the team. They don't have a guy that once adversity hits, that can walk up to them, grab somebody by the shirt and say, bro, I need you. You're not giving it to me. Give me more. They don't have anybody like that. They don't have somebody that once things get gets hectic to say, give me that thing. We get in a bucket. Give me that. Somehow, some way, it's going through me where I'm getting to the free throw line, or I'm giving you this work, or I'm gonna find the best person to knock this thing down. But whatever it is, it's coming this way. They don't have nobody that's like, come here. We getting something right here. You know what I mean? So those are two things that I don't see they have, and that's what you need on the road. You need somebody when it gets tight, it gets hard, that you can get a couple of those things to happen, where somebody can challenge somebody. They don't have, I don't think, anybody to do that.
You also need that in close games.
That's a fact.
We almost saw that bite Nebraska against Northwestern.
Yeah.
Casey stepped up, made the right read, hit the shot, but I
that's
think
a one-off. Like that wasn't like it's me and I'm setting you up and I'm Rip Hamilton you until I get that thing. That's get it, do what I do my little step off, and it went in. That's a one-off. That's not give me this rock. We about to get this bucket.
There's not that killer instinct.
Yeah.
And I think some guys will try to show that they have it, but it just feels like they're playing hero ball then. I wonder who the team thinks its go-to player is.
That's what's crazy. I would have thought it would have been Rick Mast.
But he took 5 shots against Maryland.
It's like, bro, like, if I'm coming off 30, you've going to have to do something to show me that it wasn't real. Like, I'm not getting less than 10 shots this game. Period.
I'm not getting the free throw line less than 6 times.
That's what throws me off. Like that inconsistency of that want that I need this. I need to take this into my hands right now, and we don't have that.
To follow up and finish up on that, just kind of looking at Nebraska's home wins followed by road losses. You beat Indiana at home when you resume conference play after the new year. You go to Wisconsin then, but that was with Thursday, Friday off. Probably, walk through Thursday, travel day Friday, then you play. That's 2 days. That ought to be enough to recover.
Facts.
Right? You look then at Purdue.
Young legs.
Yeah.
This ain't back-to-back.
No, it's not. Purdue to Iowa. You play Purdue on Tuesday, same thing. Wednesday off, walk through, travel Thursday, play Friday. That's enough time to recover. You look at Ohio State. Play Tuesday, play Saturday. Back in 2020, 2021, Nebraska had some of those, games every other day, and it was on the road. They were bouncing back and forth. Okay, the schedule was a reason and an excuse for tired legs then. Strick, Nebraska has days off. They're deeper than they have been. There is no excuse for tired legs to be the reason that Nebraska continually falls this flat on the road.
Second hour. Second hour.
Back with more in a minute.
Go Hog Wild Pit Barbecue.
It's not just the big game everyone looks forward to, it's the food. If you're hosting a super party, let Hog Wild Pit Barbecue do the cooking so you can cheer on your favorite team. Slow smoked ribs, beef brisket, pulled pork, hot links, and so much more. Order online at GoHogWild.com. Hog Wild Pit Barbecue, 3210 Cornhusker Highway in Lincoln.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, a little patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Stay in warm weather, too. We'll see higher on 47. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low around 31. And tomorrow, more sunshine on the way. Warm weather, too. We'll see a high around 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Collector for 93.7 Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Rosie's Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
Integrated Life Choices has been inspiring opportunities for individuals with disabilities for more than 15 years in Lincoln and across Nebraska by offering a number of services. From group homes to independent living resources and job training, you'll find the support that allows people to live fulfilling lives. They're also hiring. If you're looking for a rewarding career supporting people with developmental disabilities, you can check out open positions along with learning more about services at ilc.net. Integrated Life Choices.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up.
Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside?
Oh yeah, this is a game changer. Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old-fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
He can maybe run. So like speed option, those things. All you want to do.
Speed, I can't see that.
It's also. Oh, it's you.
Uh-oh.
Look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
Just
now.
calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a
Word
parentheses or
Too many commas over there.
Too many
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin. Nebraska Basketball Hall of Famer and 9-year NBA vet, Erick Strickland.
Strickland for three. And you're going to go out of here as the Big 8 tournament champion.
Middle school basketball coaching legend and Duke basketball shooting coach in his mind, Austin Orman. Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. On air and online at theticketfm.com. Brought to you by Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. This is On the Block with Strick and Austin.
Welcome back to On the Block. Strick, Austin Orman here for the second half of On the Block. It is set. The Super Bowl is now set. Did it go as you expected? Was there some things that happened in the games that turned the tide? Is there some ooh involved? It is now set in stone. The Kansas City Chiefs find their way, navigate their way, sneak their way, whatever you want to call it. They got back in once again. How they did it, I have no clue, but nonetheless, they did. And the 49ers, who have been probably one of the more consistent teams throughout the year, little parity this year. All teams are right around that, hovering around that 5-win or loss category. But ultimately, in a tough, hard-fought, with some decisions that were made that probably could have changed the outcome of this game, the 49ers pull it out 34-31 and send Dan Campbell home wondering if he's had too much to drink. So what's your initial thoughts on the first game? Because they literally put the kibosh on MVP candidate Lamar Jackson. They really did a number on him. I mean, he didn't look the same. His accuracy was tested. Mm-hmm. He wasn't able to drop the dimes. They didn't give too many running angles. Kept him in the pocket. Was able to get it done, 17-10. And they come up short.
Lamar Jackson, if you look just at the numbers, was the best player in this game. Passed for 272 yards, a touchdown, ran it 8 times for 54 yards, even had a catch for 13 yards, right on that kind of miracle play. If he breaks that tackle, I'm not so sure Lamar's not gone on that pass that got batted up into the air. It was a couple bad decisions, though. The strip sack, that he didn't feel the pressure, gave Kansas City the ball in prime field position. Credit the defense for holding to just a field goal, but that's 3 points there that make a big difference. And the interception. On the goal line.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh, that too.
The interception late. There's a beat where likely is open, but not with that throw. Mm-hmm. If you're going to make that throw, that's got to go up and over the top.
He was triple covered. It was I think it was your guy, one of your best red zone, your best end zone targets returns. Mm-hmm. You've got him back. And then, well, no, that was the young fella.
They threw it to Likely.
Yeah,
the other one.
The other one. He was emerging.
Yeah, he's been solid.
But it wasn't there. It just wasn't there.
And you didn't need it all
at
that point in time. So that was really questionable decision-making by Lamar Jackson in that moment. But Strick, even with that, I don't think that's what cost Baltimore the game, right? Yeah. The defense wasn't ready to go early. Kansas City scored on its first 2 drives, and that would have been enough. Even though they tack on a field goal, they wouldn't have needed it. So credit Kansas City's offense for coming ready to play. But again, Kansas City wasn't so dominant that they gave Baltimore no chance. You look at personal foul penalties, right? They, was it 96, 98, just smacks Mahomes across the face trying to bat the pass down. Mm-hmm. That was dumb. You can look at Zay Flowers, right? He has that long catch. And then what does he do? He AI over T. Luz, points at him, and spins the football. What are you doing? That's unnecessary. I get it. You made a big play, but you know that just undid like a third of the yards you just gained on that play. And then you respect the effort from the young man trying to, dive into the end zone at the end, but live to fight another play, right? If you're going to dive, don't extend the ball, right? Get down, tuck it tight. You can't lose that thing. Mm-hmm. Credit Snead for a nice play, right? Maybe other guys don't get there in time to make that play. But then the biggest thing for me, Strick, Baltimore ran the ball an average of 32 times per game in the regular season.
Yep.
16 carries.
Yep.
8 of them.
And they were dominating that
from Lamar Jackson. Right.
Yeah. And you're 3rd and short, 4th and short, and you don't even give the ball to one of your what your best aspect of your game had been all year. Mm-hmm. You didn't even go to it.
No.
Try to throw.
Stricky, I'm going to throw this out there to you. The Baltimore defense had the most sacks in the NFL and was the best defense by DVOA all year long. played really well in the second half, was lights out in the second half. Kansas City really just hit the big play to Valdez-Scantling to ice the game, and that's it, right? The defense played pretty well in the second half. Baltimore became the second team in history to beat playoff teams on their schedule by more than 100 combined points. The only other team in history to do that, the 2007 Patriots, who lost in the Super Bowl. The Ravens had the most rushing yards in the NFL this year on offense, allowed the fewest points per game on defense, and still scored over 25 points per game as a team. There are two other teams in NFL history to have done that. You might have heard of them. The 1972 Dolphins, the last team to go undefeated.
Zonka.
And the 85 Bears. One of the most dominant units of all time on defense.
We're doing the Super Bowl shuffle.
Yeah.
The
That's
fridge.
the company the Ravens were keeping. The 85 Bears, the 2007 Patriots, and the 72 Dolphins. And Patrick Mahomes is inevitable. He was fine. He was solid, right? He wasn't a game breaker. He did enough.
Bro.
Travis Kelce did enough.
Bro.
But here's the thing for me, Strick, when I look at Kansas City, if anyone outside of Rice, Kelce, or Pacheco touches the ball in the first 45 minutes, they're doing something wrong.
You're dumb. Because listen, this is what happened last year when he got into the playoffs. It was the Kelce Mahomes show. There's no way on the Lord's green earth that Travis Kelce should have 11 targets with 11 catches.
That's insane efficiency.
There's just that should never happen.
There's one guy that can beat you.
Him. And he goes for 116 on you. It's crazy to me. Like that's where the ooh comes in, because I'm like, there's no way he's beating me. I mean, any of those other guys can do me damage and I'll be okay with it.
McCole Hardman, go off.
But
Valdez-Scantling will take our chances.
Yeah, man. And like you said, he just was getting the ball out of his hands quick. It wasn't nothing. They knew, they understood the assignment. He goes 30 for 39. And it wasn't all big plays.
No.
But then when you do hit some big ones, you hit it to the guy that should not be the one that gets it, Travis Kelce. It's crazy to me.
A couple other numbers here, courtesy of The Ringer. Lamar Jackson is one of 30 quarterbacks since 2018 to drop back to pass 50 times. He's the third worst in the playoffs throwing the football. And not all in Lamar. Like, he had a fantastic regular season, fantastic player, but at some point the lack of postseason success catches up to him. In his career, he's been sacked 7.4% of the time. In the playoffs, he's getting sacked 11% of the time. Once every 10 dropbacks, he's getting sacked. That's on the offensive line, but it's also on Lamar and on Todd Monken, new offensive coordinator. Did a great job in the regular season, but Strick, this is where I think Andy Reid's experience and Steve Spagnuolo's experience really came into play. Baltimore adjusted way too quick, got off script way too quick, and never found a way to regain that rhythm. That's a huge credit, especially to Steve Spagnuolo and that defense, for forcing Baltimore out of its comfort zone.
I have to agree with you. And the blitz packaging that they threw at Lamar just had him spoofed and confused and lost.
Well, and you heard Lamar say it too. Like, he felt they needed to make a big play.
Yeah.
Not we needed to chip away. We needed to do this one play at a time.
In playoff football, that's what you do. Go ahead.
Right. He said we needed to make a big play. We had to take our shots and see what happens.
No, because that's what Mahomes did. That's the professionalism that Mahomes offered. Now, it's unfortunate. You feel bad for the, I mean, two teams that would have hoped they could have knocked them off, didn't get the job done. The Kansas City Chiefs find their way back in the Super Bowl. If you had the futures on them, you hit. You hit. Because a lot of people didn't expect them to get there. But nonetheless, they did. Kudos to Kansas City. Shout out to the Chiefs Nation. But next game, this is the one that's have me discombobulated mentally.
Your boy Dan Campbell.
My boy Dan Campbell. Lord have mercy, help me. 34. Now listen, I was surprised at the score, first and foremost. I thought it would have been more looking like the Chiefs and Baltimore game, but Detroit ran out on them. I mean, they were putting a spanking on them like the old Atlanta Falcons did, before it went completely south after the lights flickered and flashed. But they still were in it. They were in it, had a chance. Brock Purdy was just okay, not crazy. McCaffrey, solid, normal stuff than what he did. No one really was going nuts. They were just solid all the way across the board, everybody. Both sides. Sam Laporta did what he was supposed to do. Amon-Ra got busy. David Montgomery went nuts. The rush game was crazy. 182 yards rushing in a playoff game. That's a phenomenal number.
So is 155 on the other side.
And golf wasn't bad. I mean, all the way across the board, it was nothing wrong except for, I think, the decision-making. Now, you let Nick tell it, it's because 50% is bad kicker. But I say situational football, and I want you to break that down because I think we were in agreement with that one aspect of it. You had two chances. You're down there. I think one of them was inside the 30. The other one was just outside the 30. So like just around the 35-ish. You got a chance to tie the game. I understand that you're an aggressive unit. I understand this is kind of what you've been all year. But when you get into playoffs, so many things are hard to come by, and it's usually scoring. And for me, it's a momentum thing. The first one I can understand because the momentum has shifted in the 49ers' favor. I can understand you going to try to break that momentum, change the way things were going. You come up short, but yet you're still in it. You're 8 minutes and 30 seconds in the second half. You're in field goal range. Way too much time. Even if you scored a touchdown, way too much time. Because now they've got a chance to go all the way back. If they score, they beat you because you're still in the same predicament. Whereas you kick the field goal, you're 8 minutes. Now all of a sudden, they go down and score. You might have a couple of minutes left. It's very because they're trying to score. You got 3 timeouts too. They're trying to score because it's a tie game. They have to do something. They much rather get a 7 than 3 because they understand that 7 can beat me with 2 minutes left in the game. 2-minute offense can beat me. That's where I think the decision-making should have been processed a little bit different when you're talking playoff football to go to the Super Bowl.
I think you're onto something there. So it's worth pointing out that San Francisco ended up scoring 21 unanswered points, which I put this game more on the Lions' defensive collapse than anything. I really do. But it was set up by being put in tough situations, right? You look at, they have a sure interception.
Oh, yeah.
Off the dude's face mask. Okay. Right after they go for it on 4th down, I think the first or second time, 2 plays later, off the face mask into Ayuk's hands, San Francisco scores. First play of the next drive, the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble.
Yeah.
San Francisco's right back at the 25-yard line. And it's at that point I felt, okay, San Francisco's got this. It's just a matter of time. Not an if, but a when.
Hold them to 3.
But it still just felt like, okay, San Francisco's got this. I understand the decision to go on 4th down the first time more than I do the second time. The play was there. They had it. Yeah, Goff had to step up. Yeah, he was moving around a little bit. Hit Reynolds in the hands. He's got to catch that ball in that moment. I'm not going to chalk that up to a lack of big game experience. It's just a drop, right? It happens. Just happened to be in the biggest game of his life at one of the worst times, okay? But it worked. The play worked. They got what they wanted to. I don't mind the process there. But you get, 4 or 5 minutes later in the game, score hasn't changed. You're still down. Still can use that field goal to tie the game. And you go empty on 4th and 3. You tell San Francisco you're going to pass. When you've been running, you said, 182 rush yards?
Right. And Jahmyr Gibbs earlier on a 4th down in I want to say maybe 5 or 3rd. No, it was 3rd and 12 or something like that.
And he sprinted that left side
and gets the first down. you gotta at least give them something to think. Go ahead.
At least
you're
threaten
right.
it.
You're onto it.
At least threaten it.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it. Nick Bosa comes in and blows up the play. It's dead. Okay. I know Badgley has been a bad kicker.
Pause. What did Nick Bosa do?
Blew up the play.
If you have a running back in there, what does Nick Bosa have to do?
Gotta get off the chip and then get around his guy.
Well, he can't just come downhill, because if you're a smart OC, if that's what you're going to do, I'm going to go right up underneath you. I'm going to let you go hard. I'm going to go right up underneath you with some form of a shuttle draw.
I'll take my 4 yards first down.
Come on.
Yeah.
He has to pause a little bit. He can't just go.
He has to.
He has to pause. He can't go ears back on that. Go ahead.
So not the greatest process from Ben Johnson or Dan Campbell on that one. Even if Badgley is a 50-50 proposition, I still like the idea of playing for the field goal there, because you've been struggling in the second half. Try to put points on the board. And looking at the different, win probability added models. If this is wrong, feel free to come at me on the text line 402-464-5685. My understanding of the win probabilities that I saw is that it pulls from historical data, right? So if there's this score against this score with this amount of time remaining, team X wins the game this percentage of the time, team Y wins the game this percentage of the time. On both fourth down decisions, the win probability added model gave a slight edge to going for it, to win the game, not to tie the game, but to actually win the game, which, as Herm Edwards said, you play to win the game, right? Winning has to be at the forefront. But sometimes winning is about managing. Managing time, managing score, managing situation. Detroit's offense had been scuffling. It's equally as deflating, I would say, Strick, to do all that hard work and miss a field goal, and to do all that hard work and not get it on fourth down.
Right.
I'm not saying Badgley was a sure thing on the kick.
At least the defense can say, "Whew, okay, well, let's go."
We got something. Getting points is a little bit of a spark, but you miss it on fourth down, nothing at all to show for that hard work.
Yeah, it's a deflating thing. I can understand it. That's like going on a 15, 20 point drought where a team just runs off on you and you just it's so deflating.
So 43-32 is saying early in the third you kick the field goal to go up 3 scores. Well, here's the thing. You go up 3 scores, but it's only 17 points. San Francisco ripped off 21 unanswered in a row, so that field goal wouldn't have done you any good at that point in time. You still would have been down needing that touchdown. And then, Strick, we haven't even talked about their decision to run the ball inside the 5-yard line, waste a timeout.
Yes.
You have to be sure you are punching that ball in the end zone to run it. They didn't get it. They wasted timeout. I thought they had the onside kick. It hit Lions' hands. They didn't catch it. But you could have forced a San Francisco punt if you had just decided to throw the ball.
Yeah.
But you lose a timeout because of
everything
that.
Needed
make
to
it
be
that much
in
harder
the
for
end
yourself.
zone. Everything needed to be in the end zone, stopping the clock or out of the end zone. Even if you kick the field goal there, you still were going to need the onside kick. It didn't matter. So regardless, at that point, there should not have ever been a run.
No.
Period.
No. Yeah. Unless it was like Goff scrambles.
Right.
Last resort, but not a designed call.
Not a designed call. Right? No.
We should probably take a break and get to Brian Munson.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Maybe we'll ask him some thoughts on NFL. Definitely get his thoughts on Husker football recruiting and more when we get back.
Rosie Sports Bar and Grill. Open for lunch and dinner at 10th and P or at 1501 Center Park Road.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
At Southeast Community College, community is our middle name. Our continuing education classes offer personal interest, traffic safety and licensing, online learning, and adult education classes across Southeast Nebraska or online in your own home. Learn to ride a motorcycle, how to start a small business, how to dance, or take a course to advance in your current career path. See the full schedule of continuing education classes online at southeast.edu/continuing. SCC, your path to possible.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
The Lincoln forecast for today, a little patchy fog possible this morning. Otherwise, we'll see mainly sunny skies. Stay in warm weather, too. We'll see higher on 47. Tonight, partly cloudy skies are expected with a low around 31. And tomorrow, more sunshine on the way. Warm weather, too. We'll see a high around 44. I'm meteorologist Kyle Klecker for 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Junior Achievement at Lincoln inspires and prepares today's young dreamers to be tomorrow's goal breakers, leaders, and things we haven't even imagined yet. Help more kids while having a great time at the JA Bowl-a-thon. Sign your team up and raise money to ensure the educational programs focused on financial literacy, career readiness, and entrepreneurship are always free to thousands of students. The JA Bowl-a-thon is February 16th and 17th at Parkway Lanes and Hollywood Bowl. Register at lincoln.ja.org.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through January 30th is $2 off steakhouse burgers and buy one Urban Slicer Pizza Works dough, get an Urban Slicer Pizza Works pizza sauce for free. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town. What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh, yeah. This is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here on the block. Austin Norman, Erick Strickland with you. We go now to our VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. We welcome in Brian Munson of Husker Online. Brian, before we dive into your specialty, which is recruiting, specifically that on the Nebraska front, Dan Campbell, too bold, not bold enough.
Too bold. Way too bold. But that's the way he played all season. I mean, I guess he went down, shooting all of his guns and all of his bullets, but you take the field goal there, and you don't have, there's not much you can say or do about like the tremendous crash that they had in the second half. I mean, the momentum changed. It didn't help that I think that some of that was kind of played off of I wouldn't call it good play calling either on the fourth downs that they came up short. So yeah, I think he was too bold. I think that he should have kicked a field goal. Turned out to be the difference in the game. There were some, unlucky, bounces, particularly the pass, the catch by Ayuk, but they also benefited from that later on down the line where it should have been an interception if the wide receiver doesn't take that ball away later on in the fourth quarter. So just too bold. Dan, I love Dan. I've really come to appreciate him, his style, how he goes about doing his job, basically going all the way back to his Hard Knocks show, on HBO, but just needed to kind of dial it down a little bit and not be so aggressive.
Let's go to the AFC then. Baltimore did the exact opposite, right? If the Lions lived and died by their identity, Baltimore completely went away from it, abandoning the run, even down just 2 scores, right? What do you make of Baltimore's insistence on throwing and not relying on their league best run game?
I totally agree with you. It was the second half. They were going left to right. Lamar, I think on first and second or second and third, made 2 long throws down the left sideline.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, what are you doing? Like, getting away from the run game. They had horrible play calling too on third and fourth down. I just could not figure it out. Kansas City did play better, up front. That's a great offensive line that you got there in Baltimore. I like really everything about that team. I just feel like you weren't playing into the strengths of Lamar. Lamar is a terrific leader. He's a terrific quarterback. He's a playmaker. I mean, just flat out. That is how I would just describe him. First and foremost, he is a competitor and a playmaker. But yeah, I mean, they just decided to go ahead and go about doing things all different. I don't know why. I mean, I don't know what Mark Andrews really got you yesterday either. If you felt like all of a sudden you had this, magical way of kind of throwing the football all of a sudden. They lost their identity, and it really cost them.
So it'll be a rematch of the 2020 Super Bowl with the 49ers and the Chiefs. But we do have some Bills news for you. Are you excited about Joe Brady being named full-time offensive coordinator? Would you have liked them to have gone outside the house for that? Where are you at with Joe Brady?
No, totally. I love that. I love that hire. I mean, clearly he had a lot of things he was working through. He was able to kind of get some adjustments going very, very quickly after Ken Dorsey was let go. Then again, I mean, I think that offense needs, I'm going to say it, I'm going to regret it, but I think that they need to find basically a new number one. I don't think Stephon Diggs is really that number one guy. And I think that some of that has to do with some of the identity that was maybe determined, with the general manager being taken Kincaid last year, the first round last year. I mean, by the time that they got down to their draft pick, I mean, 3 or 4 guys were already gone. I knew that they had their sights set on Jackson Smith and Jigba. They had some meetings with him earlier on in the process. So you don't get your guy where you chose that last year. You really need to find, either that number one or 1B kind of guy to go next to Stephon. And I think, as sad as it sounds, I mean, I think they got to figure out something to do with the specialists. And that didn't help them out either down the stretch. So yeah, I love the hire of the OC. They're actually entertaining the idea of bringing in a defensive coordinator now that would not be the play caller. McDermott would still retain those powers. So some good adjustments on the staff there. Really like the offensive coordinator hire.
Not to jump back to the NFC, but it did get me thinking. I know Matt Rule's brought up San Francisco as potentially a model for Nebraska. When you look at this roster, obviously it's not going to be NFL players left and right in college. That's not how, the economics of the game works. But if Nebraska wants to move to a San Francisco type of system and style, what are their biggest needs and what are they, on their way to having that might, be the college version of the 49ers?
Massive left tackle. I mean,
sure.
Trent's the best in the game. And you've got kind of this Swiss Army knife, fullback tight end. You got a really nice, versatile, other tight end, Kittle, opposite that. You've got the best running back in the football game, arguably the best running back in the game. You have, look, I think Purdy plays incredibly well within that system. I think that he does the things, he knows where to go with the football, he distributes the football, he typically doesn't hurt the team very much when he's out there. So it's kind of this Trent Dilfer way of kind of managing the offense, but he's definitely beyond Trent Dilfer, and he's got some feet. He can go ahead and make plays with his feet. You don't want him doing that. But obviously he can go out there and do that for you in some cases. But I think that would be, that style that they run a lot of crossing routes. They do a lot of clear outs. They find ways to get the ball to the guys underneath. Like with the tight ends, they have tight ends that can also stretch the field. I think that would be a great style. I've often wondered how Ayuk and Debo just seem to get open all the stinking time, but they do. So I think that would be something really interesting if that's what they are striving to get towards. But they need to have more of a H-looking, kind of tight end, which I think Nebraska's trying to find that guy. Then you need a guy that can put his hand in the dirt, but still is more of a hybrid flex guy. You got Fedoni, you're getting Nelson, you've got some other guys that are already there. So more of a true tight end H, but yeah, there's some things there. I think you're still just looking for that manager of the game. Maybe Raiola is that, and you're still looking for that number one running back.
Okay, is Janarin Bonner a name that comes up when you look at Juszczyk? Like, I know Nebraska wanted him in that role. They talked him up there. Do you think there's more in store for Janarin Bonner this year, and last year was the learning curve year? What do you think his role is for the team?
I mean, I would say yes. I mean, I think that they know that he's a very talented player. They're trying to find a role for him. That's a guy that really suffered such a devastating injury, obviously. And you hope that he's full go, and there's really nothing else that's kind of holding him back. But yeah, I think the Juszczyk, Bonner kind of comparison would be amazing. I think Bonner is still adjusting to what it is he's being asked to do. I think he's getting more players in the room. He's getting more reps. He's getting more time. He's having a chance to kind of get further into the system when it comes to physical development, what they want those guys to look like and move like. So that's going to be beneficial for him. I think if I were Satterfield and I was Rule, and I would want to sit down and put on the Juszczyk basically film and just let him watch and just see what he thinks about that, and make him understand, like, this is kind of what we have in mind. Like, this is, if you can do these kinds of things, there's a future beyond the doors at Nebraska. There's a great future for you here at Nebraska. Like, we want you to see, like, the end game. This is it.
We're talking with Brian Munson of Husker Online here on our Allo VIP line. Brian, let's turn our attention now to the 2025 recruiting class for Nebraska. Another big weekend in recruiting. But before we get to some of those headlines, I was looking at Nebraska's 2025 recruiting class. 3 players from in-state already committed. You look at Tyson Terry, Caden Vermas, and then Connor Booth. We talked about Christian Jones. We talked about Chase Lofton last week, and we've done that a couple times. Outside of the guys Nebraska has committed and those 2 big names, is there anyone else on Nebraska's radar inside the state's borders for the 2025 class?
Well, yeah, obviously, I mean, Pierce Newberry was in town, this weekend, and that's a name I think people need to know and to hear about. I mean, he's heading off to Iowa State this weekend. He's a linebacker guy that Nebraska kind of sees, playing outside, either as a Will or a Jack guy that can come off the edge and rush a quarterback and drop off into space. But then, right there in Lincoln, you got Jackson Carpenter at Lincoln Southwest. I think with Jackson, I think what you really see is you catch a guy that I think is really still scratching the surface on all of his potential. He's putting all the physical tools together. I mean, this is a guy that trimmed off, multiple tenths of a second off of his 100-meter time from his sophomore year to his junior year, which I think is what's really kind of, busted things open for him a little bit, for people to kind of go back and stare at that track time and go, wow, this is a kid that's really moving. He's got a great vertical. He's a heck of a basketball player. There's an amazing shot of him catching a touchdown pass last year. He can put it all together. He's got some physical tools. So I think that those are 2 guys. Those are 2 guys that really stand out to me, when it comes to that. So And I think that, there could be some additional guys, down the line that potentially, could be in the conversation here a little bit. But those are the two obviously outside of like the top five that you really talked about before that I would want to mention right
now. In terms of this weekend's recruits that were in town, any names stand out to you?
Yeah. Jalen Williams is gosh, what a fun interview. Palatine, Illinois, defensive lineman, came in a little bit lighter, I think, than what was originally kind of touted of him, from the On3 database. I think we had him down at 6'5", 280. He was actually 6'5" and about 240. But I don't know if that was like just mistyped or miscommunicated. That's a very big number to be off on. Nebraska doesn't seem to have had any type of problem with where he was at, when it came to his physical stature, because Nebraska's been talking about him playing more of a defensive end, kind of an edge looking guy. So loved the visit. Like, one of those typical kind of things, like just came in with these expectations of seeing, wagon ruts still cut, into the earth in Nebraska and nothing but fields as far as, the eye can see. He was blown away. He was blown away by the university, the campus, the city of Lincoln. I mean, I know people, look, we have subscribers and we have people that read our message boards that don't like hearing these comments. I love them because the first thing that Jalen gets to do when he returns to the Chicago area is tell everybody how wrong they were and tell everybody about how great it is out there. I mean, I love those firsthand accounts because he can go back and just correct the record. And he's obviously a guy that Nebraska's got very high on their board. He will be back, and I thought that there were some interesting things like that Caden Vermont had to tell me because he was the first commitment in the 2025 class going back to last April. Dylan Raiola, wasn't around the first junior day, but he was there this weekend. Caden got a chance to finally meet up with him. Dylan played a very active role, was communicating with Jalen the minute basically that he landed, in Lincoln. Dylan and Jalen were already hooked up. So, I mean, it's going to be very fun to kind of see how involved Dylan is and how recognizable, obviously, he is when it comes to bringing him up and what he's been like in the recruiting game and kind of putting Nebraska on the map in that regard. And then obviously then how he kind of keeps helping out the 2025 guys that are currently in the class, like Vermoss and Booth and Terry, kind of help continue to kind of, be the Pied Piper and lead the guys to Lincoln. I think Dylan's is being very active in that area.
Speaking of quarterback, believe it or not, Husker fans, recruiting a quarterback didn't stop with Dylan Raiola. Nebraska's got to, go get another one for after him. 2 offers out, I believe, in the 2025 class with Mansky and Zollers. Where does Nebraska stand with those two guys, Brian?
Well, I tell you what, I think it's very hard to not say that Nebraska still has Mansky as a number one guy on their list. Coach Foley has been out to see him multiple times. He was at his basketball game, I think, on last Thursday night. Mansky obviously made the choice to go ahead and go down to Texas A&M that first weekend, and Nebraska had their junior day on the 20th. He said he's still going to get back to Nebraska as quickly as possible. I think that Nebraska still looks very, very good for that. But Zollers is interesting. He's a guy that seemed to be almost destined to go to Penn State. Penn State gets a guy. Now he's just kind of picking up offers. I mean, Nebraska kind of broke things open, for him in a lot of different ways. He just seems like if you go up to his Twitter feed and just kind of check it out, it seems like every day he's announcing something new about something else. Somebody else is offered, somebody else has come by the school. He's taken another trip someplace else. What's discouraging there to me so far is that since he's gotten the offer, there has not been a compelling enough reason for him to basically come out to Lincoln and check it out. So I think Nebraska has to kind of understand that, maybe there was kind of a dual purpose thing here to kind of tell Mansky that they weren't just going to wait around. They need to go find a guy that needs to be a really good guy. But Zollers isn't really responding, the way I think that a lot of people had hoped, that basically Nebraska kind of vaults to the list and that he understands it's a game of musical chairs and he needs to make sure that he wants to get in that take that spot. he's not really playing it that way. So I would keep a close eye on that, and maybe potentially there'll be some more offers that go out the door.
So if Nebraska handled the Dylan Raiola and Daniel Kalen thing about as well as they could have to get them both to campus, are they not handling the 2025 guys right? Is it just not the reaction they expected? What's the rationale behind all that?
Well, I tell you what, the difficulty with Mansky so far this spring has been, the basketball has gotten in the way. And obviously you want those guys to dual sport athlete, go out there, stay in shape, do your thing. But clearly, it's a disadvantage to Nebraska so far that you've got these other commitments that are kind of keeping a guy like Mansky away from visiting right now. Like I said, Jack Limbaugh, who is his teammate, who plays basketball and football for Algona, was in Nebraska for the 20th. And like I said, Mansky decided to go down to College Station. So you had a very critical decision that weekend, that one weekend where it seemed like so far you've been able to kind of get out on a Saturday and go take a trip. They decided to go down to College Station. And I think that was a very telling kind of thing that, that they're still responding to the new interest, the new offers. There's not really been something so far about Nebraska, I think, that's completely and totally sold him about it. Maybe it's the Raiola edition. Maybe that room looks a little bit more congested now. It's a little bit different looking, basically since Thanksgiving or a little bit after. So I think Nebraska will be fine here. I do think so, though. Still, they have to get a stud in the 2025 class because obviously, things can go really, really wrong if you go out there with a true freshman quarterback. He turns out to be the kind of guy that he is. You got two guys then that could be looking up at a guy that's going to be a 4-year, 3-year starter at Nebraska and wondering when are they going to get an opportunity. Things can really change very, very quickly for that roster.
Last one for you then, Brian. Name that I heard nothing but good things about from your writing and then from other places as well. Mason Bandauer. What do fans need to know about that offensive lineman?
Yeah, dude. I tell you what a 16-year-old sophomore, 6'7", 265-ish, just has some great film and measurables, great wingspan, smart kid. I think that's going to be a really interesting guy to kind of keep an eye on. I think his popularity obviously is going to soar. But Nebraska made quite the impression on him. And I think that's something to kind of, that I don't think Nebraska was out there by mistake. I think when they hit the Colorado area that first week in January, when they could get out as part of the evaluation process, they were in Colorado and they were making offers to 2026s and 2027s. And Bandauer was one of the first guys they went to go see. So that's not a coincidence. I think Nebraska really sees him as being a top flight, neighboring state, kind of a guy under their nose that they want to try their best to get into the class next year. So keep a close eye on that one because that's really a guy I think that's going to go from being a regional guy to being a national guy pretty quick because he's a very talented individual.
If you want any more on recruiting, make sure you check out Husker Online. Check out Brian's work there. Highly recommend that. Brian, as always, appreciate your insight and your time. Have a great rest of your week.
We will talk next week, man.
We will. Brian Munson with us on our Allo VIP line, brought to you by Allo Fiber, where they understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart. And Strick, we got to shout out Allo for giving us what number TV channel?
961.
Woo! Statewide,
baby. Go check it out. If you got Allo, go to 961. You'll get to see us up close and personal, or you can go to theticketfm.com and you get us there, as well as YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, and X. You can get it all there right here. 937 The Ticket, 2 to 4 on the block. But we got to get out of here because guess what's coming up next?
Jay Feasy,
the crossover. We'll be right back.
Tune in to the Malone Radio Show from 9 to 10 p.m. every Sunday night to learn more about the Malone Center's goal to eliminate multi-generational poverty in Lincoln. It's the Malone Radio Show every Sunday night from 9 to 10 p.m. on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Landmark Implement, your local John Deere dealer, is hosting their annual sprayer clinic at the Buffalo County Fairgrounds in Kearney, Nebraska, January 31st through February 1st. Landmark Sprayer Clinic offers expansive equipment and technology training on John Deere and Hagee sprayers. Learn about the newest technology, machine maintenance, spray tip selection, exact apply sprayers, and more. Free dicamba certification will be available. Join Landmark at their sprayer clinic January 31st and February 1st in Kearney. Find more information at landmarkimp.com/events.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese at 84th and Havelock. This week's special through January 30th is $2 off Steakhouse burgers, and buy one Urban Slicer Pizza Works dough, get an Urban Slicer Pizza Works pizza sauce for free. Don't forget their 2 new locations now open at 30th and Yankee Hill in Lincoln and 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Houses? They're expensive. And once you buy one, you're kind of stuck with it for a while. You need to make sure you get your best house for the best price. You need Ben Bleicher and his team of pros at Professional Realty Group. They'll take the time to figure out what's important for you in your dream home, and they have the expertise to find the hidden issues that could surprise you after the sale. That's professional knowledge, proactive service. We call that potential. Ben Bleicher and the team at Professional Realty Group of Berkshire Hathaway's home service ambassador. Find more online at prg-ne.com.
If you're not going to Memorial Stadium for a home game and don't have any travel plans for away games, there's a great place in Omaha to catch the action, the Inner Rail Food Hall. There's plenty of space. The Backstretch Bar has amazing game specials on game days. $15 Blue Moon and Bud Light pitchers, $6 margaritas, and $6 Moscow mules. And if you're hungry, take in some of their great options from their game day pizza specials. Do football game day right in the Inner Rail Food Hall in Exarban Village in Omaha.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
A lot of work goes into making Nebraska, Nebraska. Keeping it green. Helping it thrive. Making it fun. Everything that goes into caring for our outdoors, from waters to wildlife, plays a big role in making Nebraska home. Learn how we help conserve our state's natural resources at outdoornebraska.org.
Paid for by Nebraska Game and Parks. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Gaina Trucking guarantees a 40-hour work week year-round. And their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
What a day. I could sure use an afternoon pick-me-up. Hold up. The new 93.7 The Ticket location has a milk, coffee, and tea inside? Oh yeah, this is a game changer.
Need an afternoon pick-me-up? How about a coffee or smoothie on your way to work? Stop by the Ticket Mill location on 1040 O Street to get your go-to drink or try out our new game day drinks, exclusive to the Ticket Mill location. We know it'll make your day a million times better.
Early break with Sip and Jake.
So he can maybe run a
So like speed option, those things, all you want to do.
Speed. I can't see him.
It's also
Uh-oh.
Look what you did. Look what you did. Look at Bill.
Down.
Come on
Just
now.
calm down.
I don't say anything about semicolons or should there be a
Word
parentheses or
Too many commas over there.
Too many
Come on.
run-on sentences. Don't talk about that. It's not my wheelhouse.
Early break with Sip and Jake from 6 to 8 every weekday morning. Now back to On the Block with Strick and Austin on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
We're back here one final time on the block. Jay Foreman on his way in. But until then, you're stuck with me. You like Strick, though, so stay around for Stricky. Speaking of Strick, your boy, Your boy. Luca, 70 burger.
70.
Now, it was against the Hawks. I don't know if it really counts, but
and it
all counts the same, right?
Look, it looked like kids on the crosswalk going to school.
We have some kids on the crosswalk. We can't see them that quite in frame yet.
It looked so easy. Like, it didn't even look like it was hard. Just, if you can see me, you can see me. You may only hear me, but it looked like just easy peasy, beautiful. Yeah. And you know the rest of it.
Is that because Luke is that good or the Hawks are that bad on defense?
Oh, man.
Or both?
I just think, look, just everybody keeps talking about, it's better. It's this. Yes, I will say this. The kids of the day are more skilled. They're skilled because what you're supposed to do in your skill set, you're supposed to take what others have had and take it to another level and develop it, right? The footwork that you've seen from Akeem Olajuwon, the stuff that you've seen from Kobe, everything that you saw from Clyde Drexler and being the right-hand dominant man but can still do whatever he wanted. All the things you're able to see, take that, elevate it, and take it to another level. That's what you're supposed to do with your skill set, right? Now, the game and the rules have changed to make it to where in my time, you may be seeing 8 guys scoring in 20s, right? Mm-hmm. In the range of 20s.
Yeah.
Then you'll see maybe Jordan up close to 30.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're talking season-long averages.
Season-long averages.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, you see like 40 guys averaging 20. That's crazy. Like, that means they're not either playing defense or they're just the rules and it's the flop free throws and you're getting to all these free throw lines. I've seen guys not get touched, bowing up their arms like they're strong, and no one touched them, but they called the foul.
If you had to guess, how many players are currently averaging...
give away upside, man. Okay. Call it. Let's give away something.
Okay, $15 to the upside.
$15 from upside, man. Shoot.
For the first person who can correctly tell us how many players are currently averaging at least 20 points per game this year.
It's crazy.
It's a lot. I'll tell you that much.
It's crazy. Like there's just no defense. And you want to know that I want to say 2012. Man, I wish I had it on my thing. When there was a couple of rule changes and the numbers of 20-point scores literally shot like a rocket up. And I can't remember what year. I want to say 2012.
Which rule are you thinking about?
I think there was freedom of movement.
Hand checking or
freedom of movement. Hand checking was back.
Was 04.
05.
Yeah.
So it was after that. It's whatever the ones after that. It had a lot to do with freedom of movement. But the 20-point, and then all the players did was figure out a way to trick you into calling fouls. All the flopping. Yeah. So James Harden is, guys, going to the free throw line 15 times a game off some.
Trae Young's in that conversation, too.
Oh, my gosh. It's crazy, bro. Anyway.
Let's do 15 more bucks to the upside for the first person who can guess how many players are averaging 30 points per game at this point right now.
It's crazy.
So 402-464-5685. First people win with the correct number get 15 bucks to the Upside Bar and Grill. Before your thought, let's pause 10 seconds for station ID.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
My bad. Go straight.
No, you're good. But what I'm saying is, so yes, skill-wise, yes. But IQ-wise, game-wise, understanding, different things like spacing and, the fundamentals of cutting and setting guys up. A lot of that's gone out the window. That's not there. And so what ends up happening is now guys are just so skilled at one-on-ones as opposed to a lot of team concepts that we used to have before. And again, I tell people this all the time. I say, listen, if I want to get to this spot right here, I don't need 20 dribbles to do it, because one of the things we worked on is you've got to be able to get your shot off in 3 dribbles. So we had to do whatever we needed to do in 3 dribbles to be able to get to where we wanted to be effective in getting our shot off or creating a foul. Guys, now it takes you 20 freaking dribbles between the legs, behind the back, and going nowhere, by the way. Do. And then a screen comes, and then all of a sudden you're doing it again. So you've taken 40 dribbles before you can get to a spot to even get a shot off. If I wanted to catch the ball at the elbow, that's where I was going to get it. It was just, I was going to set you up to get there. It wasn't going to be that I was going to just have to debo you to get there. I'm going to set you up to get there. That's the stuff that's been lost, I think.
I think there's been a shift just in terms of the scheme, too. In terms of a lot of NBA coaches, it seems like are trying to get those one-on-one matchups. Like they're hunting guys to have their best player go at one-on-one, at least from my vantage point, more than ever before. Is that fair?
I can say that's fair. I mean, you saw it. I think you saw it in the Laker game just recently, the double overtime game where Steph Curry was going off the screen and he wanted to get to AD or somebody else. And that's very, and here's the reason why. It's a lot of it started with him going way back and where even they were trying to get, Kyrie Irving was trying to let me get to Steph because I want to work him over. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
When they won the championship, Kyrie was like, let me get him off me so I can get to Steph. So I can give him this work. So.
Right. Or get Tristan Thompson switched on to him. Kevin Love switched on to him. Welcome Jay Foreman in the building here. Well, as Jay's getting situated, we will shout out our 2 winners. Bubba, you were the first in with the right answer. 4 players currently averaging over 30 points per game. Those players are Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Giannis Antetokounmpo. And Riley, you were first in. 47 players strictly.
That's freaking
averaging
crazy,
20 points per game. 47 of them.
Yeah, that's crazy. It's crazy.
What up, Jay?
What up? I got a question, Strick. Right out the get-go. Since there's so many players, I mean, this is a NFL question too. Obviously, I'm asking you because you're the NBA expert. Since there's so many guys averaging 20 points, is it really about advancement in skill or the decrease in the skill of defense or the really lax rules?
I think it's both.
Okay.
The defensive principles, because think about it, right? Think about it.
Oh yeah, I got it. Go ahead.
Think about it, Jay. These kids, you coach AAU ball,
right?
You see what that's like. There's no skill development in
No.
AAU. It's get up, run, go up and down.
First one to get it. First person to get it. Shake, bake, anticipate.
And so everybody's so caught up and enamored with the scoring, no one wants to play D. And so that's what you have. You have a bunch of scoring, backing up and down, who can go one-on-one. You're watching all these mixtapes and all these YouTube videos.
Yeah, or Instagram quick, like, what are they, Reels or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay, then let me ask you this then. Why is it that the teams that generally win championships somehow play D? So when the Lakers won in the bubble, they were one of the, when you look at the analytics, they were one of the better defensive teams in like a decade. Like the points per 48 minutes, or you know what I'm saying? All the Nuggets. When the Bucks won, their defense, that especially those last 4 games, was impeccable. We don't have to talk about the Spurs. We know that. The Celtics, when they were playing right and not trying to go up and down with Golden State, they were a defensive juggernaut. And Golden State.
That's how they beat that year. Who was it?
Was it the Nets?
They beat the Nets.
Yeah,
they bodied up and put that work on KD now.
And then the Golden State Warriors, when they were really humming. Now, granted, I feel like they were one of the best rosters.
They had Iguodala as
right.
well.
They had my man Sean Livingston coming off the bench and everybody else. And what's the
Draymond and Clay could play defense back then. That was when
Clay was the best two-way. He was known as the best two-way guy in the league, if not.
And the year that they won it, where Wiggins was really good.
That's what won him.
Yeah.
So I wonder, Strick, and this is a loaded question. We could throw Nebraska in there because we've seen them against Maryland. We've seen them on the road. Why is it that certain teams, Kansas in college, Nuggets, and all the teams I mentioned before, can play D? Right? And they win. Is that fair to say? They're right. Kansas is Duke plays D when they're the best. Why is it that that's the formula that all of a sudden everybody, like the 98% is like, no, I'm gonna do it a different way? You get my question?
Well, especially when it counts.
That's also important.
That's the part because you got to think about it when you're playing in series. You can play a series throughout the season, but you may not see that team for a month,
20 games or something. Yeah,
right. So okay. That's how, but when you're seeing them every night for 7 games, potentially 7 games, then, it's lockdown home. You are able to look at that synergy and find out, okay, he likes the right block 80% of the time, and he's going over his left shoulder. So we're going to force him to that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you really can get into the details, deep details, deep dives.
So that's the difference between the regular season. And okay, well then I want to ask you another question because me and DP didn't get in an argument about Doc Rivers, but I like Doc personally. I was fortunate enough to run up on him and play golf with him. I like Doc. And I like him, and I think he's a great coach. And I think he's a good coach. But I have some questions on why he has why he can't finish. And I do think, and I want to ask you this, and this is just my personal opinion. Are there some coaches that fight the idea of defense and still are professional coaches, and it hurts them in closeout games, in series that they shouldn't win or shouldn't lose, getting the regular season, standings, you know what I mean? Because, I used to think home field or home court advantage was a thing. Now I think these guys, because is that a fair assessment on my part that there is a difference between a coach that you gotta hone in on defense. It's a part of your program or your franchise.
Like a Thibodeau versus a Carlisle?
I think Thibodeau is like too much. Because I think Thibodeau
got that from Ben Gundy.
Like a Steve Clifford?
No, like D'Antoni.
Yeah.
D'Antoni's just like,
there's too many
we're
of
try
them.
To beat you by 120.
Yeah, that's the analytics,
130.
though. That's the analytics, right? And it can be something that can make an NCAA run. Because remember, his brother coaches at that one school, and
Marshall.
Marshall. They went 2 for 3. Give up 2. We get hot. It works. I always wonder about that because when it comes down to it, how much more if you took a pool of NBA players, right, in the playoffs, so every player in the NBA playoffs, right, teams, and I don't know how many that'd be, and then you take out the top 2 players on every team, because generally everybody has 2 really good players, right? I mean, that's fair. And then there is no difference in skill set in those, what is it, 10 other guys on the roster that you're the playoffs 12. So there's there's 80 other guys, right? Or so it was 8 teams make the playoffs. So 6, okay. 120 guys that all are the same. 90% of them won't refuse to kind of play the defense that needs to do. Right, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Because it's transferable to football.
Yeah.
Because I can tell you this: if we're playing men's league, right, and we're all in men's league shape, right, and I know we're going to play for a championship, and Strick is the best player in the league, I can promise you, my thing is going to try to stop him. If everybody else beats me, that's fine. It's just like the Baltimore Ravens. Travis Kelce walks up and down O Street. Listen here, Strick. He's 6'4", 245 pound, 40. I don't know what he is. He's one of the best tight ends of all time, right? Give or take. I mean, he's in the top
5.
He's in top 5. Worst case, top, let's say 8.
10.
Because you got to get Mackey in there and Ditka and all those guys, right? So, okay, top 10. And that's right now in his era, he's probably top 3 for sure, top 2. And it just depends on the eyes of the beholder.
Because you got to look at Gronk.
Gronk, I
Kittle,
think Gronk is in a place of his own because of the way he was able to block and how and dominate. Now that's just whatever.
That's different. Okay.
How do you come out here and let this man go 11 targets?
11 targets
and 11
catches. That what?
Like it's just like and then you have
you be in my bag.
Because we watch the
same thing.
I'm sitting here thinking like, and these owners have the nerve to interview this dude, like because he's up for interviews for defensive coordinator. You trying to tell me? And this is what guys don't understand is, and we're gonna get into this in old school, and I'll never forget this. When we lost that Music City Miracle, Big Bang Hank, Big Al, shout out to Henry Jones. His daughter is a all Pac-12 or was all Pac-12 sprinter at USC. Gonna be in the Olympic trials. She's a real deal. Good job, Deja Jones. Anyways, he said, dude, I'm like, oh, we'll go back next year. He's like, you might not never make the playoffs again.
Come on.
And I won national championship.
Right.
Roll into 2 back-to-back playoffs. We're only going up from here. Oh no, I didn't get into the very end of my career, and by then I couldn't affect the outcome. That's why it's important.
That's why it's important.
That's why it's on the players.
This is why I'm looking at Nebraska.
Because exactly, if Austin ain't handling his business, okay, and he's a young rookie, well, guess what? Me and Strick on the way out. Yeah, we see that light coming because that train ain't stopping. Austin's right behind us. That's what's really important, man.
That's a fact.
That's Jay Foreman here. I'm on Old School. Jay and I will be on that. Stricky.
Hey,
good stuff.
Hey, you know when the judge slams that gavel? Done.
I mean, whatever else comes out of my lips is years.
Yeah, yes, sir. Year he, right?
Old School next.
Judge Foreman.
Step into healing at Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery. Our team of top-notch medical professionals turns pain into progress with state-of-the-art treatments and compassionate care. Visit prairieortho.com and discover the difference in quality orthopedic and plastic surgery services tailored to your unique needs. Your health matters, and Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery is dedicated to helping you thrive. Reach your full potential. Embrace a better tomorrow with Prairie Orthopedic and Plastic Surgery.
Not many businesses can say they've made it 60 years, but Madsen's Bowling and Billiards can. With 12 bowling lanes and the biggest pool room in Nebraska, where else would you go to enjoy an afternoon or evening? There's a great daily specials like $2 Tuesdays, games of bowling, shoe rentals, draft beers, and tacos, all just $2 each. Have a delicious burger at EJ's Lounge before or after your bowling or pool session, and you'll leave satisfied. Madsen's Bowling and Billiards at 47th and Dudley.
Discover the difference that expertise and experience can make in your real estate journey with Next Ag Appraisal and Realty. Whether you need an appraisal, sales, or farm management, Next Ag comes up with a solution with your legacy and goals in mind. Next Ag isn't just their name, it's your future. So why wait? Visit their website today at www.nextagrealestate.com.